Hi everyone, welcome to this week's lesson on nasturtiums in watercolour. The first shot was me climbing up the bank and collecting some nasturtiums, and they're absolutely beautiful. I love their colours, the red and the warm yellow. This is a really good example. I've told you what colours to choose on your PDF. Cadmium yellows are quite nice, or Windsor yellow, or a new gamboge, something like that. So first of all, I'm painting on dry paper. I've already drawn up my picture. I've changed it slightly to the one that I've given you, but I'd like you to start off just with the two nasturtiums, but you'll see in this demonstration how to paint those and how to paint the leaves. So first of all, I've just covered all the main flowers with one coat of diluted cadmium yellow, and then I'm just going around the painting and painting in the leaf shapes. I've carefully marked where I want the veins of the leaves, and I'm now putting in some stalks, changing the colour of the green as I go through. Now, the yellowy orange of the nasturtiums, the complementary colour is blue of orange. So if you add a little bit of blue to your green or yellow, you'll get a nice complementary colour. So this is the basic blocking in of the under layers of your painting. Next, I'd like to get the alizarin and a little bit of cadmium red. So I've just put a wash over the top of the dry painting, and just adding a light glaze of alizarin and cadmium red, and letting that run down over the paper. Then I'm mapping in the green, the next layer over the top. Now we learned how to do this, showing the veins and leaving the negative shapes of the colour beneath in the PDF. So I'd like you to use those skills to create the leaves in and around your painting. And I'm using a mix of colours, sap green, and maybe mixing cobalt blue with the cadmium yellow makes a nice green. So have a play around with those greens and you end up with a lovely little leaf with negative shapes showing through. On top of this, once this is dry, I'm just adding another glaze of alizarin over the top. For every layer that I put on, I'm leaving little parts showing through. And try not to go over the same part twice. And using a small round brush, I'm teasing the colour down. I've got my paper on a real lean at the moment, so it's really dropping down. And for each layer, I'm using less water to create a darker colour. And we get that nice, once you put the alizarin over that cadmium yellow, if you've gone quite dark with the cadmium, you get a really rich glow. And now I'm just into the wet paint, I'm just adding a little bit more alizarin mixed with a little bit of cobalt blue. And you get a nice wet in wet effect. So if you've really practiced these individual flowers, you should get some quite interesting effects in your final painting. And then the final stage is just to add those little darker lines coming out from the centre of your flower, out of the nasturtium. And you can see all the patterns that I've left underneath. I'm doing glazes over the dry paper, as you can see, so it's a little bit more controlled. The only real wet in wet, adding a bit of cadmium red with the alizarin and maybe a little bit of darker around that central area. So you can have a lot of fun with this. If you've got chance to actually look at the nasturtiums close up and examine the flowers, the intricate patterns are quite beautiful and amazing. And you could do just a study of one of those in watercolour separately. So for your homework, I'd like you to go on a wander around your garden or around the village and see if you can find some wild nasturtiums and pick them, make a flower arrangement and then try and paint. You could just choose one flower and two leaves. and I'm sure you'll end up with a successful effect. Don't worry about painting the background too much. So I hope you've all enjoyed that, and look forward to seeing you soon. Have fun.